you have both sides of the story to deal with, and you've owned both stocks since before they actually split, so you have a very interesting take on things. Should they have split originally, and should they get back together again now?
Yeah, good morning, Vonnie. You know, at the time they split, it was sort of a popular thing for companies to do, to split businesses, and I think they got caught up in that. Whether it was a good decision or not, on a combined level, I'm not sure. I mean, CBS obviously has done much better since that split than Viacom has. They're different businesses. You know, from a business standpoint, the split made sense. You don't know whether the combined company would have had a better enterprise value or not. But now, you know, they want to put it back. The majority owner wants it to get together. I'm not sure CBS wants to get together. Viacom needs to do something because they continue to erode business from their, you know, media properties. And we still haven't seen shareholder value or much shareholder value being created there, whereas on CBS we have. And that gets to the crux of some of the issues with this transaction. You know, who's going to run it? Who's going to be the number two? You know, which sort of theme are we going to take in running the combined company? And I'm not sure CBS needs it. The other thing is both of these, theoretically, as standalones, are getting too small in the media space, you know, with the consolidation that's going on. And both could be bolt-ons for somebody else. And for owners of both, we're looking to maximize value for both. So we're not necessarily sure whether a merger makes the most sense for our positions either at this point. So we're continuing to look at it.
Well, that's the thing. That's the word on the street, that CBS perhaps isn't as interested as, you know, it might seem, given that they actually made a bid for Viacom. But why wouldn't it be a good idea? Viacom has been engaged in a rapid turnaround. You know, investors in Viacom are pleased at the growth that it's showing. And as you said, both companies do seem to need to do something.
Well, I mean, you know, when the majority owner says get together, you know, you got to make sure you got to listen to that, I guess, as an operator of the company. So they're putting in an offer. They lowballed the offer, I guess. It was below where the market value was trading, at least initially. And so, you know, that's an indication of how serious are they. Are there going to be cost synergies? Is there going to be business growth, the combined company? I mean, there's a lot of open-ended questions. With respect to Viacom, I mean, yeah, things have improved a little bit, but they got a long way to go. And, you know, the cable business is eroding everywhere with more on-demand services, the bundling of cable services, et cetera. And the fact of the matter is a lot of Viacom's, you know, cable properties have been decliners. They just aren't getting the viewership that they used to. The movie business is always hot and cold, regardless of who it is. Time Warner, Disney, you know, Viacom, you get winners, you get losers. It evens out. You want more winners than losers, but it's a volatile business. It's hard to predict. And so that, again, makes it a hard thing to handicap going forward as to what this combined company will do. So a lot of interesting questions, and I'm not surprised they're having trouble putting this thing together, because I'm not sure that there is synergies as a combined company like there would have been a few years ago. No,
but it's definitely true that Viacom could provide a lot of content, right? And obviously there's the studio element, which is always nice for an ego. If it maybe, you know, if the profit outlook isn't as certain, it's at least a very, you know, sort of like a crown in the jewel to have, a jewel in the crown to have in your little portfolio. So that would be, for Les Moonves, very interesting. But if they were to combine, what would a good management structure look like? Who should lead and who should be number two? Is it possible to split the teams up and have, you know, one from Viacom and one from CBS leading a combined company, or would you need to keep with the legacy management teams?
Well, that's the $64,000 question. I mean, that's what negotiations are for. I mean, any situation could work depending on whether the parties can get together on it. And right now, it appears they're far apart. You know, one side wants one side to run it, the other side wants the other side to run it. It's hard to figure out if they can do it on a combined basis, who's going to be the ultimate leader, et cetera. You know, Moonves clearly wants to run it with his team, and he's had success building shareholder value at CBS, so I'd be inclined to go in that direction per se, but it's not an easy question to answer. And so I think that's one of the things they would have to iron out. You know, so we'll see what happens, but that's typical merger M&A type stuff that goes on, you know, underneath the deal. The other thing you mentioned with respect to the media properties of Viacom and content provider, absolutely, and you know that's why for us we're not sure a merger makes sense. If you're looking to maximize value for both entities, the answer might be that they're great bolt-on acquisitions for other different companies because of the types of businesses they are. And so, we're not wedded to this as a solution in the long term. We've been frustrated with the shareholder value created by Viacom for a while. And CBS has been a better performer, but it could be an even better performer with somebody else as part of a bigger situation.
Well, and just briefly, Michael, if you say they could be bolt-on acquisitions, you must have thought of scenarios. Could you paint those scenarios for us?
No, I mean, we don't spend our time, game planning out acquisition strategies. I think for us, both of them are somewhat value situations at this point where, the business entities have value and we're looking for somebody to maximize that value. If it's a combined situation with the two of them getting together, that's great. We're not sure that's the only answer, and it may not be the best answer. And to date, I'm not sure the transaction that's been publicly put out there is in the best interest of both sides at this point. And so an answer for us might be combining both of them getting combined with other entities. And you would never run out running something as a standalone, I guess. But I just think the way the industry is consolidating nowadays, there might be more synergies being a smaller part of something else much bigger.